Yeah, walk and talk video. What the hell? I'm here. I'll make the video. Um, so anyway, I was thinking, common arguments made, or the argument from nature that nature defines if there any such thing as value. That somehow nature is where we're supposed to look, for the definition of value. Um, and yeah, I just think it's just so wrong-headed. Um, in terms of the survival and mechanical maintain your existence, then becomes the value. You just adopt the same values that nature, the parasite creator, has, which is, make parasites, make really nasty parasites. I obviously find that useless, because nature doesn't care about the attribute that we as thinking and feeling beings can understand is the one that has all the value, and that's the experience, the sensations are where we derive value. We pay for things, we work for things, we strive for things because of sensations we're going to derive, moments of gratification or pleasure or enjoyment. That'll be the byproduct of that investment of our time, so to speak. We wine and dine the woman, and to get what we're after. I don't want to make it that crude, but you get the point. That we know what's valuable, and that's this gratification thing. So I would argue, if we're going to put in an Einsteinian framework, parallel the simplicity of, energy equals matter, that we'd have V, value, equals pain over gain. So that somehow you have to have enough of a denominator, gain, to justify the pain. Right? So the denominator should be the small number, and the numerator, well, whatever, you get it. Yeah, the small number should be in the bottom. So there's lots of big being created through the division process. You want to have little pain and maximum gain in terms of gratifications or joyful sensations. And the only thing that complicates any of this conversation is that people have these subjective sensibilities that they think are important, like licorice is yummy, and so therefore somewhere in the V equals P over G, that somehow G over P, right? Yeah, pain should be the small number, G over P. So somehow this thing, licorice, should somehow be granted its value because it gave them joy. It's therefore a joyous thing, a great thing. It was a good friend to them. And so we all have those subjective things. I might put cigarettes on the list. Yeah, they should be internally immortalized for their great capacity to bring pleasure and happiness to the addicted, of course. That kind of breaks the game, because what could be argued is the imbecile argument that, as much as we like to think we're doing something more dignified, we're not. Yes, having your pinky out when you're drinking tea is definitely more sophisticated and all that crap, but it's drinking tea, and if somebody does it with just as much gratification without the pinky thing, it's probably just more efficient. And in most cases, our higher standards are just nonsense. They're just culturally familiar, culturally comfortable. They're convenient to our sensibilities, our conditioning, and that's it. They don't have anything to do with anything real. So you can make these arguments about, meat eating, beyond the ethical question. Just the habit of it is just that, a habit. And if you grew up with a different habit, it wouldn't even occur to you to chase down animals, gut them, fry them up. So it's just the stuff we're familiar with, the stuff we're comfortable with, and we want that to be universally valued, rather than recognizing that the only thing that has universal value is your enjoyment of it. So if I can be equally pleasured, by just picking up this rock, and going, oh man, shiny, cool, blah 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 blah, so neat, so angular, so grayish and dark. Oh yeah. I had a really gooey experience with it. Now I could walk 10 miles to get some other special rock and have that experience, but the special rock is just special from my conditioning. There's nothing really special about the rock, so it's just a kind of a lie. Whoa. There's no point in not recognizing that the simple thing to do is to have the psychology that's satisfied with the easy to access rock, the easy to access joy and happiness. So again, this is where the argument gets a little bit nuanced, because of the character, how we perceive our intelligence. And I would say that our intelligence has value as a tool for, good architecture, progress, curing disease, all that kind of stuff. But beyond that, it doesn't have any real value in terms of how we feel, and that the real deal is the passion. Even smart people want their primitive moments, and it's the primitive activities that probably they still derive the most gratification out of. The sex drive, the material victories, the hierarchy, competitive games, watching their competitor make a mistake. They probably still gain their joys and happinesses out of things that are, even by their own standards, crass and crude, and they may even be disappointed that they are capable of deriving as much pleasure as they do from things that are not intelligent. So fundamentally, the argument is that, like I said, this value equation thing, the real key component is just recognizing what the elements of the pain and the gain are, which are just a state of mind of contentment and discontentment, harassment, you could almost say, a mental harassment, versus a mental comfort. And again, it's not really about what kind of Dollywood, what kind of amusement park you go to derive that enjoyment. If you can do it with Tonka toys, if you can do it with simple images in your head, if you can do it very simply and very efficiently, without any risk and without any expense and logistics, if you don't need the whole Swedish bikini team to jerk you off, there's just an efficiency to that, to being able to keep all the ladies working on all kinds of people instead of just you, not hogging the resource, so to speak, because you need too much. Do you really need 70 virgins to be a good man? Do the Muslims need to bribe you with 70? 35 wouldn't be enough? 20 wouldn't be enough? Come on. So we know it's all just arbitrary. these numbers and these standards, and that all we're really after is the gratification. And because we are too often ego driven, we think everything we've acquired attachment to, our utility of, is universally valuable and great. Because we like somebody, we think they should be liked by everyone. Kind of an idea. We pervert the value equation by allowing things that are nuances of the game. You're not recognizing the simplicity. You're subdividing, in a sense. So if I was compared to Einstein's E equals mc squared, you're adding components. You're saying, you're describing stuff that is in fact energy, and claiming almost that it's something else when in fact it is energy. That kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, it's just about the attainment of a peace of mind, a satisfaction of ambition, sense of accomplishment, and this primal physical comfort. I mean, clearly that's it's not just a cliche, to say something like, your health comes first. I mean, without that, you have nothing. That's the starting point. Is not being overtly harassed by your own physical body, being in some broken or deformed or dysfunctional state. Obviously, that's a huge impediment to your gain capacity, and a huge liability on the pain portion of the equation. But the rest is a head game, so to speak, a game of understanding the mechanisms of your psychology and playing them to their best fulfillment, which means you might want to drag it out a little bit, sometimes drag out the pleasure. You learn little tricks of being caught up in it, of the gameplay, of not losing perspective. I mean, certainly when you're in the act of lovemaking or something, it's probably not a good idea to think about the leaky roof or start thinking about some other stuff. Is to stay in the game you're playing and maximize your psychological thought processes to gain as much ego gratification and love expression, whatever exactly that is, that you can manifest out of the experience. For if you're sensibly involved, for both parties engaged in the activity, clearly that would be a sensible perspective to have. So yeah, there is value to be ascertained. I think it is a solid truth, as solid as merely describing the difference between a cupcake and a razor blade as potential food items. We can understand how they don't have the same potential, and in that understanding is the beginning or the kernel of value declaration, the mere recognition that we know that we experience the difference between pain and gain. And I need no further argumentation to understand that in such distinctions is the kernel, the making of value, the creation of it. I feel, therefore value is. Something like that. I was going to go for a walk next day and such, but I probably should do some work. And I should have brought proper equipment want to do some nature thingies and underwater thingies and all that crap, but time. Yeah. Anyway, time and tide, such. So till next time. Blah 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 blah.